So baseline, just tell everybody what do the Amish believe? What does an Amish upbringing look like?
Yeah. They believe in living a simple life.
Okay.
We had no electricity growing up.
I'm out of breath already.
There were a lot of things that we did without. Yeah, for sure.
Is it based to a religious root, or is it more just sense of community? And
it's not necessarily religious beliefs. It's more just they really want to keep what their forefathers did and what they were taught all their life. So even if you were to ask someone a question of like, why do you do what you do? Why are you driving horse and buggy and not cars? You know, that's a great question.
Mm-hmm.
They probably won't have an answer for you. The only thing they'll answer with is, well, it's the way we've always done it.
Interesting.
And that's the answer to every question.
Interesting. So are there handbooks, rules, guidelines? Is there anything tangible or on paper that you guys kind of read or study to abide by? Or is it all this, spoken word of it's just how they've done it before and it's this basic understanding?
No, it's just they kind of go with it as it comes. Like things are changing all the time, slowly but surely.
Yeah.
But no, there's no book, nothing.
Is there a leader in an Amish community?
Yeah, so every church has a bishop.
Okay.
And so the bishops are the leaders.
Okay.
So there's a lot of them.
Okay.
But then there's also one bishop overlooking all of the bishops.
Okay. Okay. So I'm trying to think of something, and it's not really a good example, isn't really coming to mind, but say for just the sake of the question, like say planes were invented today. Who is the person that decides, oh, no, we're not going to do that? Like when something new is introduced, who's making the decisions on whether or not that fits with the lifestyle versus might be outside of it?
Yeah. So twice a year.
Yeah.
All of the community gets together. I'm sorry, not all of the community. Basically, all the bishops get together, and they'll discuss among themselves what is allowed, what is not allowed. And then they take it home to each of their churches. And twice a year, this happens where, the whole community sits together, and he's going to tell you what's allowed and what's not. They go over every little detail. And trust me, it's a very intense moment.
And is it primarily technology based, or is it books and curriculum that you guys read? Everything. Wow. Okay.
Maybe not as much books that we read, but everything else.
Okay. So do you feel like there's a little bit of censorship in the community?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
interesting.
It's a lot of control for sure.
Wow. So growing up, I imagine initially you didn't question things because this was all you knew. So there was no, why aren't I doing this? Why aren't I doing that? Because you probably didn't have as much exposure to some of those things. So let's start with your immediate family. Are you, how many siblings do you have?
There's 10 of us.
There's 10 brothers and sisters.
7 brothers and 2 sisters.
Holy crap. So what was the day-to-day like growing up?
Oh, gosh. At what age?
Say you're 5. Let's start with that
5.
mile marker.
Basically, so if you're a kid, you're not going to school, you will create your own entertainment in some way, shape, or form, because otherwise you're going to be put to work. That's just how my...
Wait, so at 5 you're not going to school?
You don't go to school until you're 6.
Okay.
For the most part.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you go to school until 8th grade.
Okay. So things are relatively easy. Playing.
Yeah.
Life is fun.
Yes.
Okay. Then 6, we start going to school.
Mm-hmm.
And from 6 until what age are you in school?
Until 8th grade. So around 13 and 14.
Okay. And after 8th grade, 14, there's no additional education.
No.
So you don't go to college. It's not really, a high school. So what does the curriculum look like from 6 to 14? Is it the same classes we would take, like history and math and English, or is it basket weaving and gardening classes? Is that rude? I'm sorry, but I feel like that's what I picture.
Fair. That's fair. No, we do learn, math, history.
Okay.
So English was not my first language.
What did you speak?
So it was Pennsylvania Dutch, which is very similar to German.
Can you say something? Say, have a good afternoon.
Hab en goede nachmiddag.
Oh my God, you're still so fluent. I'm impressed.
Well, it was my first language. And then you learn English in school.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So English, not like we're not reading Jane Eyre. We're learning how to speak the language.
We're learning how to speak the language.
Okay.
I'm not kidding. Yeah.
Wow.
For me personally, I didn't learn any English before school.
Wow. Okay. So
if anything, it was yes and no.
What is the benefit from their point of view of learning the English language if the idea is that you'll always be in this culture?
I don't know. That's a great question.
Maybe for reading,
I think definitely for reading. That's probably what it comes down to.
And I will say, I do know that my dad always watches that show. What is that show?
Breaking Amish?
Yes.
No.
Oh my God, my dad's obsessed with it.
Stop it.
Obsessed with it. Have you ever seen it?
Yes.
Okay. How similar?
No.
It's not real.
No.
Okay. Well, I will say.
Sorry to burst his bubble.
No.
It's not real.
That's fine. He finds it very entertaining, but mainly he loves it because he's, when you hear them speak, a lot of times they don't sound the most educated, but then you see that they are, building these homes. They're managing so much. That they truly are very smart and very educated people. And I'm sure a lot of that has to do with what they've learned, but also just being resourceful and having to kind of make do with what you have. So for him, he really likes it because he thinks that they're entertaining, but he enjoys seeing that kind of side and how capable they actually are. But what would you say for someone who that is their only impression of the Amish culture? If they're watching it, what would you say is not real versus what parts might be true?
The number one thing is Rumspringa.
Okay.
That's not true.
That's not true.
It's not true.
And what is that if they haven't heard of it?
So there is Rumspringa.
Okay.
But that's when you turn 16. And that's when you start going to a youth group. That's when you can start dating. It's not, you never have that option of whether or not you want to go out into the world.
Because that makes so much sense because I can't imagine that they're encouraging you. So why would they have this milestone in your life that is, okay, it's time to make your decision? They're under the assumption that you're staying, right?
Right.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. So it's not quite like that. However, I'm sure it's based on the idea that many people around that age might start to question some things.
Maybe, but that's also when, you'll go out on a Saturday night. Maybe you're drinking a little, that's when all of that.
Are you allowed to do that? Or is it all?
Depending on a youth group.
Okay. So yeah, what does a weekend look like then? You're drinking a little bit and then what?
So basically it's you go to this youth group and you play volleyball. That's the game.
Okay.
And you just hang out with your friends, honestly. It's just getting together, eating together, hanging out.
Okay.
That's all it is.
Wholesome. I love that.
And then you meet new people and you start dating.
Okay. And what is the expectation from there? So are most people getting married by 18?
21.
By 21.
As a woman, by 21. As a man, more like 23 to 25.
Okay. So from 16 to 21, yes, maybe you started dating. Are you working?
Yes.
Okay. So as a woman, what's a typical job?
It depends. It can vary anything from like working at home, gardening,
Okay.
cleaning, all that kind of stuff, to working at a market, Amish market,
Okay.
or Amish bakery. It all has to be kind of like within the community.
Okay. And this will probably make me sound very uneducated, but like, how does it work in terms of money? Like, or if you're working within the community, I mean, are these legitimate businesses? I'm sure someone who's working at home isn't getting paid, or are they?
Either way, you're not.
Either way, you're not.
So this is for me personally. I can't speak for everyone.
Okay.
But for me, I didn't get my own money until I was 21. You get your tips and stuff,
Okay.
but that's it. And then your mom, like my mom gave me money on a weekend and kind of had
Okay.
an allowance. But until
At
the age
21.
of 21, that's when
So at 21, you're still getting an allowance and now just being able to start
Yes.
making your own money.
And trust me, I got my first phone then.
Wait, that was like, you did that kind of illegally? Get your own phone?
Oh, yeah.
How do you have
I-
access to that?
I found a way,
Okay.
honestly.
Okay.
And I would hide it in my room.
Wow.
And yeah, I was almost 21 when I got my first phone.
That is insane to me. So it really is regimented in those areas like we think it is. So to kind of cover too, so no phones, no planes, trains and buses, cars are okay.
Yes.
Are
Driving in them, not driving them.
as a passenger
As
only.
as a passenger only.
So you like calling an Uber? How do you call an Uber? You call a cab?
No, you have your own taxis that drive within the Amish community.
Oh my God.
They're non-Amish,
Interesting.
but
Okay.
they're
'Cause-
known as Amish taxis.
So Amish people wouldn't have like a legitimate driver's license.
Oh, no. Oh, gosh, no.
Okay. Interesting.
I didn't get mine until 25 when I left. And trust me, it was the most awkward process ever. Like, everyone looked at me like, who are you? And why are you just now getting your driver's license?
I didn't get my license until I was 23 and I was
Oh,
not
no way.
Amish. So if people ask me, I'm going to say I was just in the Amish community. That's why it took me a little bit.
Was a season of my life.
Yeah, I'll use that as my excuse.